So what does a maxed out Everdale Valley look like? These guys here in Eternity are number 6 on the Everdale Valley leaderboard. So let's jump in and have a look what a completely maxed out valley looks like. Hey guys, Alex here, otherwise known as Clash Royale. Welcome back to this video where we are going to be jumping in to check out a maxed out valley in Everdale. Now, if you cast your eyes over to the screen right here, you'll see Eternity, which is the valley I am in. Big shout out to all the guys over there, and especially Hysteria, who managed to hook me up with an invite. These guys are in Eternity, and I am over here in their valley. Just visiting for now. I will be going back to my valley to help these guys out, but I wanted to take a look at a completely maxed out valley, talk a little bit about what happens when you max out and what you can kind of do from there. So what we'll do is we'll have a little look through everything. Of course, first things first, I do believe there are visual changes. This certainly I don't think is what our great library looks like in my home valley. Let me know if this is what yours looks like. I think it might change as it progresses. Hey guys, Future Alex here, editing the video. There is a visual change. You'll see the great library, quite a lot of different changes. So this is the one at level 8. Their maxed out one has bells and whistles and fancy stuff on it. But if we scroll all the way here to the end, you can see they have fully maxed out everything. So they have no levels on anything still to upgrade. All their guilds are done. All their toys shop, their dye shop, everything like that. Everything is completely done here. They have fully maxed out the great library. So they have nothing left to do. But that does leave them with a little bit of a conundrum, because you obviously get reputation for doing those tasks, but unfortunately, the only thing they can continue to upgrade is the Grand Monument. Now, they haven't really been focusing too hard on this Grand Monument. It's only now they've fully maxed out everything else that they've gone, hang on, we actually do need to focus on that, because that's the only thing that's going to allow us to continue building up our reputation. Now, unfortunately, I was over 35,000 reputation in my old valley. But if you cast your eyes to that left-hand side, I'm now on 32,000, and that's just because I cannot get enough reputation in a maxed out valley. So to me personally, I don't think there's any benefit to rushing to max out your valley other than having a spot on those leaderboards. You can see Eternity right here, but these guys are struggling to maintain their reputation now, just because the only thing they can do for rep is the Grand Monument and of course some ships. But to be honest, you're better just focusing on the gold ships and using that gold to get the reputation from the Grand Monument reputation tasks. So maxing out your valley, it might sound really cool, but actually I think it makes the game much harder to progress through, because I have already unlocked these chests right here. I was pushing towards 3.6, but unfortunately I'm now down at 3.2. So when I join my home valley, I'm probably going to be quite far down on the list. I was up there, one of the top players, but unfortunately I'm going to have dropped quite a bit. But that is just the fact that you cannot build up that much reputation here in a max valley. But we will have a little scroll around. We'll take a look if there's any visual changes. Of course, I did notice the great library. Everything else is level 3. The bakery, of course, is level 3. The tailor's going to be level 3. The toy workshop is level 3. You'll see that's what it looks like. If there is stuff going in the toy workshop, things will actually appear. You'll see the little box here. Something actually rotates. I think it's the teddy bear maybe comes out of that. There's marbles that go down the chutes. The little door up here, right here, that opens and closes. And this thing on the top does spin around if that's active. The dye shop, you'll see we're currently making some dye, so it kind of does some fancy stuff, but that is the dye shop level 3. But to be honest, this probably looks exactly like your valley. There are really very few changes that happen when you max out your valley, other than the fact that you can't get very much reputation. It is disappointing, to be honest, to see the fact that you cannot get that much reputation. And if I come in here, looking at the rep a lot of these guys have over in Eternity, when I joined, which is right when they maxed out, all of these guys had a lot more reputation, and it's really, really difficult to maintain that rep. All of these guys are slowly but surely dropping down. I myself am really struggling, so I'm hoping to push back up when I rejoin my previous valley. But big shout out to a lot of the players. You'll see OP is level 14, which is pretty insane. All of these guys have said they've spent quite a lot of gems, but their gems, rather than focusing on decorations like a lot of players, their gems have been focusing in on really pushing a lot of the reputation tasks and bringing in those premium ships. And if we take a look over at their harbour, I actually think their Glimmering Dale's boat is lower than ours. Ours is up at level 6, maybe even level 7, because we've been focusing on Glimmering Dale's and Highland Academy. But you'll see these guys have really focused in on Iceberg Isles. They have got their Iceberg Isles ship up to level 9, which is the one you constantly bring in when you are summoning those premium ships. But of course, there's not much point in them doing it anymore. They don't need the books for the library. The reputation would be nice, but they would be much better just focusing on those gold ships, which is exactly what they are doing. But this leaves us with the fact, for maxed out players, what is there to do in the Valley? Well, not really very much, which is disappointing. And again, it brings us back to the fact that I think we need a major update here in Everdale. Things are really, really slowing down. Unfortunately, we just cannot seem to get that, constant activity. I feel like there needs to be something to get players to come into the game, really continue to play, and hopefully just, get players being active again, because a lot of these guys here have kind of lost interest. They've came on, they've put a load of effort in, they've maxed out their Valley, and they're sitting now going, what do we do now? What is there to do other than work on their home village? And for the home village, all you need is gold. So maxing out the Valley, that's what it looks like. Not very different to normal valleys. It's cool to be in the leaderboards, but unfortunately, I think Everdale and the development team maybe do need to look at what can be implemented once players do fully max out their Valley. Is there something maybe they can get when they fully max out their great library? Maybe a mini game they can start playing that's going to give them some easy reputation rather than having to focus on the one and only thing, which is the Grand Monument. Now, let me know down in the comments if you do know what level the Grand Monument goes to. If we take a look at the leaderboards, some of these guys, they've got some up to 47, so it obviously does push up quite high. I would imagine maybe it goes up to 50, something like that, but let me know if you know for certain what the fully maxed out Grand Monument level is. So those guys have certainly got a little bit of work to do with that, but I did just want to share some light on what it looks like to be fully maxed out here in Everdale on your Valley. Of course, a lot of these guys have still not maxed out their villages. They've still got a little bit of work to do. The study in the village takes a long time. If we jump in here, you'll see there is so much work to do, and it's one of those things, it just takes time. You cannot really speed this up very much. Of course, you can use those scrolls, which you can get with gems, but again, you're limited with the amount of scrolls you can get. So I'm pushing my study as quickly as I can. I am constantly boosting it if possible, but there's a few guys in this valley that are really far ahead, but they've not fully maxed out. So there's still some work to do in the village, but as for the Valley, they have ticked that box. They're up on the leaderboards, and now they're sitting back, not really too sure what to do. Now that does bring me to the end of this video. Really do appreciate you guys watching. It was kind of one more me talking than showing you guys stuff. There's not much to show in a maxed Valley because everything relatively looks the same. But I am going to be bringing you guys a pretty interesting video for the next one. I'm going to be valley hopping to see if that benefits the reputation you can claim. Of course, I want to go through, maybe complete a couple of different gold ships in different valleys and see if hopping through valleys is going to be more beneficial than sticking in one permanent valley. But I really do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you if you have already liked that video. If you haven't, make sure you go and hit it. Subscribe to if you haven't already. I see we've actually got a little gift here, so let's open it up. See, we've got from MSK, we've got a couple of bits of flour. Very nice. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.